Welcome to the Friends and Rivals podcast.
Oh, my tooth.
Oof.
And my
My
glasses. My
You hit me
glasses
in the
fell
face
off.
and you damaged my tooth.
Let's talk Devils and Islanders, let's talk Penguins and Rangers, but let's not talk about Flyers, cause they're a bunch of fucks, which no one can deny.
Episode 146 of the Friends and Rivals podcast coming at you live and hot. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Parkers. Joining me each week are
Stephen Wojtowicz.
Bill Fougere.
Nick Loretta.
Did he forget?
were you muted or
It took a minute.
how big were her boobs?
Really big.
Wow, okay, then that's a good excuse. By the way, whatever the Devils goalie's name is, Capo Kakalainen or whatever the hell it is,
Kekkonen.
Capo
Kakkonen, he is not related to Capo Kakko. Just letting you know that ahead of time.
Thanks.
Just letting you know.
Thank you. Who would
The
think
great-
he was? Only
the
a
great,
moron.
The great Sam Rosen. Like, I get like their first names are similar. They're not spelled the same, but their last names are not even close.
So
What?
I didn't hear said comment.
As Billy wrote it, it's exactly how he said it.
But was he joking?
You know what? Even if he was, that's kind of a fucking. It's almost worse if that was the joke he was trying to make on the air.
I mean, bad jokes are one thing. Thinking somebody's not related because they have the same first name is worse.
Yeah, it's really not how it works.
No, it's not. It was oh boy, Sam Rosen.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Wow.
But finally, the trade deadline has
Oh.
come and passed. Now we don't have to fucking
Can we
worry
do it
about
again?
it.
Can we do it
No.
again?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I wasn't terribly upset with the way the Rangers trade deadline went. However, they typically go out and make a big splash, and they typically go out and get the superstar guy that they want to get. On typically, this was like a shock to the culture for not only me, I think for all Ranger fans, that we didn't get the guy because our GM didn't want to put some young player as part of the package. I cannot remember the last time that happened in Rangerland.
Well, maybe because it has never once, ever in the history of the franchise worked out for them. Maybe they're starting to see there's a different way to go about it.
Yeah, and look, I appreciate Drury for actually not doing that. Not that I don't think Gensel wouldn't have fit. I think Gensel would have been an
Gensel?
amazing player. Gensel? But Rangers go out there and get Alex Wenberg, and they get some defensive help with Chad Ruhwedel, who has yet to make his Rangers debut in 2 games. And they also, at the last minute, pull a deal off for Jack Roslovic, who they weren't even supposed to get. They were supposed to get some Barbarov or whatever the hell that guy's name is in San Jose. But since Vegas traded him to traded Hurdle to Vegas, or San Jose traded him to Vegas, it filled up their last salary hold, so they couldn't trade him to the Rangers, and the Rangers ended up going to Columbus and getting Jack Roslovic for basically peanuts, and for them to hold 50% of his salary. So Wenberg, Ruhwedel, and Roslovic, okay. It's kind of reminiscent of the whole Vetrano cop and who was that other guy that they got from Philly that year? I forgot his name.
Fuck the Flyers.
Other guy. Yeah, fuck the Flyers. But it's very reminiscent of that year when they just made low-level moves to fill out the remainder of their cap and provide themselves with some depth. So I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy with the way everything actually transpired, and it has showed on the ice in like a game and almost 3 quarters, right? But it has definitely showed with a little bit of balance on the for the Rangers on the ice.
Well, I for one am really not pleased with Chris Drury for showing sudden fucking restraint. When I if he would have blinked and presumably what I heard, we never really know, I guess, but presumably Othman and a first round pick were what the Rangers were willing to part with. They were not willing to add Capo Caco or Gabe Perreault, which would have been a one or the other situation. That's what I heard. I don't.
There was one. It was one of three players that they wanted. It was Kako, it was Gabe Perreault, or it was Will Cooley. Any one of those guys, I don't think you can go wrong. But I'm so happy that they didn't put those guys in there. Very, very happy. The Devils kind of went the other way, Steve, at the trade deadline.
Rebuilt their entire crease in the process of, during the trade deadline. People were upset with the return for Toffoli, that it didn't net them a first. But, I mean, there were a lot of similar players that didn't net a first. Gensel didn't net a first. So 2 and a 3.
I think that's great.
It's perfect. I mean,
is that in the same draft?
No, the 3 is 2025.
Okay.
So, but again, I thought the return was great. They did get Jake Allen, no relation to Jake Ryan, just so you know. They got him from
that guy from 16 Candles.
Yeah, no relation. They got him from Montreal for picks.
Is he related to Jake Gyllenhaal?
No relation. Oh. And the aforementioned Capo Kakinen for Vanacek. So wow, we got rid of a shitty goalie and got, hopefully, again, maybe a change of one of those, maybe a change of scenery. The guy can turn it around. I mean, he wasn't playing that well this year, under a .900 save percentage and not a great record, but he was on San Jose. So is it the chicken or the egg?
They were saying .895 is good for being on San Jose. So
yeah, it's good for you.
Right, starving. Exactly. We got any chicken or eggs?
And they turned
foreshadowing on the chicken bill. Foreshadowing.
They turned Colin Miller, not to be confused with Colin Farrell, who he's not related to.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Into a 4th round pick. They acquired Colin Miller for a 5th round pick. So basically, you let him have a decent enough season that you upgraded a full round in your pick. I'm not upset. They weren't going to do anything. They weren't going to make any noise. They weren't going to make the playoffs. They weren't going to go on this magical run. Might as well move who you can get. Move who you can move to get what you can get. I'm sure they tried to move Brendan Smith, but there were just no takers. So, hey, here we are. Just got to run out the string and see where we draft.
So the Bruins almost moved one of their 2 goaltenders, and we talked about that a couple of weeks ago on the Money Talk section. I mean, you got to think the Devils are going to be in on any goaltender that is available on the block.
Free agent goalie for sure.
Well, not just free agent goalie, but it's one you can have in a trade, and to go, as I quote Tom Fitzgerald, go big game hunting in the summer.
That's it. The cap space has been made, right? Kakinen is expiring at the end of the year. The Vanacek money is off the books. So now we got money to spend on a goalie. You got Jake Ryan for 1 more year after this one. And I'm sure he'll be a serviceable backup.
So you think that the NHL has to move the trade deadline from Friday if they're going to have this many problems with, the visas, the work visas and everything having to be done over the weekend and players being held up in Canada?
It took Curtis Lazar like a week and a half to get a visa last year. So I don't think it has anything to do with the day of the week.
Well, they're saying because it happens on a Friday, they have to go through the weekend, blah, 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 blah. So
I don't think it makes a difference. I think there should be some sort of special rule put in place for athletes that they don't have to wait while this visa stuff gets worked out. It's not like they're just some, employee at a book publisher or something like that. they're pretty high profile people. You know, we know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
That makes
Was that
sense.
a shot at the Penguins, like a veiled shot at the Penguins? Because Penguin. Never mind. Go on.
I think it was a shot at people who work at McDonald's, Bill. That's where I think it was.
It was actually part of the. It was actually part of the plot line to the movie The Proposal. But you know,
Good movie.
It's
Good movie.
it's some other chick flick that you like. You fucking love those little chick
I do.
flicks.
I do.
That's a great
There's
movie.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Nick, be careful here. Be careful.
You watched
Easy
The
does
Proposal?
it, buddy.
Ryan Reynolds and Sandy Bullock. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Never
Great
saw
movie.
it.
And
Sandy.
what's her
Sandy.
name? Gold Girls.
Yeah, and Betty White.
Hey, wait, come on, dude. Come on.
Okay.
I'm not talking to you.
And the meatloaf.
I love you. Milo.
We want it now.
That time he was talking to you. To be clear.
Some other teams that made pretty sizable moves. One, we'll start with the Colorado Avalanche. They really fill a lot of holes on their team, as well as secure up and add some depth with with Sean Walker, Casey Middlestat, and Brandon Duhaime. It's like Nick. I don't even know who that guy is.
You should have Billy pronounce his name.
I had the same
Right.
thing. I'm like, who is that guy? I thought it was like that actor. It's that guy's name, Durheim. I don't know. He's got a weird name. Really familiar face. I'm looking it up now. I can't remember that guy's name.
Defoe?
What?
William Defoe?
No.
Who's that?
I'll find this.
You know who he was in a Spider-Man movie. You know who he is.
Of course I do. Of course I do.
I
Everybody
don't
knows
know.
Willem Dafoe.
Of course. Yeah, come on, dude.
Maybe Josh Duhamel is what you're thinking of.
Dermel. That's the guy. Josh
God.
Dermel. That's what I was thinking of. I didn't know who that guy was for a long time. People could say his name, and I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. And you see his face, you're like, oh, that fucking guy.
That fucking guy. And they made other moves for depth. They got some guy named Yakov. There's a guy named Yakov in the NHL, apparently. Trennan.
Yakov Smirnoff. Right?
No. Well, he's related.
No, is
And,
it related?
Yakov, that's
No.
Kakko's brother, and Dot's their sister.
And some guy named Grant Sword. Not Sword, Sword.
What?
Dude.
So listen, good for the Colorado Avalanche going with absolutely no names. But the team who did not go after any no names was our favorite LTIR. And by the way,
Oh, God.
I forgot who the GM of the Vegas Golden Knights is. If you said it, I would know. But he was on the Jeff Merrick show today, pleading how this is not any type of tomfoolery or any way to circumvent
no
the cap.
circumvention. Yeah, no.
Well,
Real
obviously
injuries.
not.
Real injuries. Real injuries.
No,
Right,
this
these
shit
are-
just
these
happens
are-
every year for no reason whatsoever.
These are bona fide injuries that happen to their
Bona
key
fide.
players at interesting times of the year.
Well, I guess
And,
Mark Stone's allergic to fucking March.
His
Yes.
spleen just exploded on cue.
This motherfucker's
apparently.
probably walking through the locker room with like a hammer, and he's just hitting people on the broken hand. Have a seat.
So I bookmarked that post though. If in the event we find out it was all fucking lies, which it probably is.
Oh,
Well, it's probably not, right? This is just coincidence 2 years in a row, but they end up getting Anthony Mantha from the Washington Capitals. They get Noah Hannafin from the Calgary Flames, and they pull off Thomas Hurdle. Thomas Hurdle has 6 years left
yeah,
on his
it's
contract.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Teenage Mutant
6.
Ninja Hurdles.
And we're not
6
talking like
fucking
chump
years.
change either. And San Jose retained salary on all 6 years.
I hear I feel a money talk segment coming on about this motherfucker.
It might be. It might be, Bill. It might be.
So who's the GM of Mike Greer? Mike Greer.
McCrimmon. Oh, Greer. Yeah. Fucking shark.
You,
Sorry.
my friend, are fired. Immediately. How in God's name do you keep your job after a trade like that? I'm flabbergasted. After last year, he was one of the big targets at the trade deadline last year, but no, we're not going to trade him. We're going to re-sign him. And then the next year, whoop, gone.
And we're going to pay him to not play for us.
For 6 years.
No, they're going to suck for 6 years, I guess.
6 years.
Maybe his hope is he's going to trade for him back in like 2 years, and then they're paying for him anyway. So who cares?
Wait, that's interesting.
Can you do that?
Sure. Why can't you? Why can't you?
So if you trade and get him back,
you're paying for him anyway.
Oh, my brain hurts. Yeah. And you have Vegas retain 25%. That would be amazing. You're getting Thomas Hurdle for peanuts.
Calling shenanigans on that one,
no circumvention at all there.
Yeah, no.
But Hurdle is hurt, and the talk is that he'll be back probably maybe 2 weeks prior to the end of the season.
Well, they should put him on LTIR and pick up somebody else in the meantime.
Well, I think he currently is on LTIR, so I don't know if they have to do that. So another team is the Florida Panthers. The Panthers were already fucking good, and now they get Vladimir Tarasenko and Kyle Okposo. Kyle Okposo, I was shocked he was still in Buffalo and still playing in the NHL, let alone to be traded to the Florida Panthers.
He's the captain. It seems like,
well, I know that it was, yes, but he seems like it seems like he was an Islander in like 1997.
Yeah, he was Neil Smith draft pick. Believe it or not.
Are you shitting me? Oh my God!
What?
Neil Smith, I think, if I remember correctly, came in near for the draft and then abruptly left before the season started because of all the Wang. He didn't want to share the he didn't want let the owner meddle with the team at all, and left basically abruptly. But I believe that's who he drafted. I'll have to check.
Fucking he's old enough. How the hell did he miss getting on the Penguins at some point?
Well, is this his first time that he could potentially go to the playoffs?
No, he's been in the playoffs with the Islanders.
Are you sure?
Yeah. He got drafted in 2005, I believe. And then
so I thought I read that. I thought I read that somewhere.
You're thinking Jeff Skinner.
Skinner's the one never been.
Skinner never been in the playoffs. God. He's going to hit 1,000 games this year and not the playoffs. We're talking about 2 weeks ago.
I think you did text that a couple weeks ago.
I did text it.
And it's clicking in my brain. 1,000 fucking games. He was on Carolina. Did they suck?
Yes.
Did we have this conversation already? Because I think I brought that up.
Sucked. He is currently at 989 games. The year they traded him, the next year Carolina started making the playoffs and being good. And so he right after they were good and won the cup, he came on sometime after. Basically was terrible the entire time. Well, the team was terrible. And then he left, or he got traded to Buffalo.
Greener pastures.
And Buffalo's been terrible. Even really, really bad. Yes, Carolina was bad too at that time, but I mean, dude, they're gonna trade him at the offseason to a fucking San Jose. I watch it happen. And then just retire.
Because San Jose has to get to the basement or the floor or something like that. So they need a Jeff Skinner. That couldn't happen to a better guy.
Could you imagine? He would retire. He was like, F this. I'm out. 989 games.
Hilarious.
He is 11 games away with plenty of time, and they are not making the playoffs. But he currently has the record, if I remember correctly. I forget what the numbers now because it was a text chain, but he is going to blow away the record if he doesn't get it next year either. So, I mean, pretty nuts, right?
God bless him. And lastly, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, who pull off the big move for Jake Gensel.
Gensel?
And maybe surprising, it definitely surprised me with the trade for Evgeny Kuznetsov. I guess he's low risk, kind of high reward type of guy. Kuznetsov, coming off the couple of seasons that he's had in Washington, and through all of his in all of his trouble, but he put the heartfelt sentiment on the Twix. He's very excited to be in Carolina. So I do not wish you luck, Kuznetsov, nor do I wish Gensel any fucking luck, because they went to Carolina. They went somewhere else, I'd wish them well. But since they're in Carolina, they can go fuck themselves. The Boston Bruins, they pull off a couple of small moves, but they may have gotten the luckiest of lucky charms. No, nobody Irish, Steve. Calm down. Relax. They might have gotten the luckiest person available at the trade deadline, and that is Pat Maroon from the Minnesota Wild, as well as Andrew Peeke, a depth defenseman for them. So the Bruins made two very small moves, and just to give themselves a little bit of depth. I think Maroon is hurt as well right now. So we'll see. And the Edmonton Oilers pull off. And your Bruins, of course. And the Oilers pull off I guess not a small move, right? With the move for Adam Henrique and Sam Carrick. That package got Anaheim a first-round draft pick, unlike the Gensel package. Now, Bill, we have to talk about the Gensel package because it was not his package, but the package that the Penguins got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
don't get too excited. It's not. We're not talking about Sidney Crosby.
I was wetting my lips, and okay, no.
I did see that.
Okay.
Everybody seems to think it's very underwhelming for somebody of Gensel's caliber.
Everybody needs to go fuck themselves really, really fucking hard. Okay, so I got two things. Okay, first of all, what's our fucking obsession with first round picks? I think we have an obsession with first round picks because in the NFL, you're drafting players that are going to make an impact next year through 3 rounds at least. It doesn't work that way in the NHL. A first round pick's it's a lottery ticket, and it's a guy, especially with Carolina, who's going to pick 20 plus. You're talking about somebody who may or may not make an impact in the league in like 3, 4, 5 years. So I don't understand. There were a lot of people critical of them not getting their first round draft pick. I am much happier that they got a player and 3 prospects back. And the people who get on Dubas, I mean, for fuck's sakes, we know that Vancouver turned him down because he was asking too much. We know the Rangers turned him down because he was asking too much. He got what he got from Carolina. He had to deal Gensel. He can only get back what somebody's willing to give up. He can't get more. So you want to say it's underwhelming and Dubas is a fucking asshole and PK Subban wants to make fun of his fucking glasses? All of you, fuck yourselves. I mean, Dubas was handed a steaming plate of shit for a roster. Did a great job retooling them for a chance at the playoffs. Did not work out, obviously. Definitely didn't work out. But I mean, he's done what he could to start, and now he's got a new phase with this team. He just picked up 3 prospects that I initially said are instantly 3 of the Penguins' 4 top prospects right off the bat with Chuck Yeager. But in fact, they've got the other defenseman that they had drafted a couple years ago. So at least 3 of the top 5 prospects in the organization now came as part of this deal, and they got Bunting. I am not underwhelmed with the return. They were going to have Gensel for 1 month. They were not going to re-sign him. Good job, dudes. Sorry, now I gotta cough it out for a bit. I'm gonna go on.
Let me talk about the Islanders while Bill is coughing.
Well, we didn't get there yet. Hold on.
Oh,
we didn't get there yet. That's the big reveal.
All right.
That's the big reveal.
Right.
Come on, God damn it.
Damn it.
And there was couldn't wait 2 little minutes. And there was 2 kind of noticeable teams that were missing from all of this chatter during deadline day. One,
who were
was
they?
One was the Toronto Maple Leafs, who made one small move for Joel Edmondson, depth defenseman from Washington, and the Islanders, who didn't do fucking jack shit.
Listen, guys, Lou he has to sleep sometimes. Took a nap and just forgot the deadline happened. I mean, clearly we ended the whole day with a first round pick. I mean, this hasn't happened in 4 years. So clearly he just got a little sleepy after his, nappy or his lunchy lunch and then took a nappy nap.
And
But
I think Lou also took over signing free agents for the New York Jets too. Since they've had
they're just taking the cue.
they've had a plethora of
Taking the cue.
activity.
I don't know what they're doing either, but
I think I know what it is. I know what it is. Lou really wants to go see the Sphere out in Vegas.
No,
So he
it just
couldn't-
reported.
Oh.
Couldn't trade that pick away.
It's just reported he's not invited.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was just announced.
Oh no.
Lou Lamoriello's not invited to the Sphere.
Poor guy.
He couldn't get in. He couldn't figure out how to get there.
He's like, it's a circle. Where's the door?
He kept looking at me. I don't know. That's like so weird. Yeah. So Isles stayed pat. I'm actually thrilled with it. I didn't want us to trade another guy. We have plenty of guys that can prove it at this point. So I'm not in on buying more shit. I mean, that's what we've done every year for the last 4 years. Again, for our draft picks, but every guy we gotten is in that with those first round picks have been pretty quality players, and getting Horvat and Romanov are the two best, in my opinion, of those picks. But we don't need to add. We just need to fucking play better, and that was why they went and made the move to get a different coach and Patrick Waugh, which we'll talk about later. But that's, I mean, it is what it is. Lou was telling the team, you got what you need, go fucking make it happen, and that's what's happening.
What was the last significant free agent signing by the Islanders?
Oh, free agent
That
signing?
they did not get in
Paid for.
a trade the year prior.
No, it's hard because with most of the guys we've done are trades, so I tend to forget or mix it up. But I think
the point of all that is there something with the Islanders that free agents don't want to go there?
For a long time they didn't want to.
I'm not saying that because I hate the Islanders. I'm asking a serious question. Is there, because I've noticed a trend in the past 4 years that it has been slim pickings for them regardless. I mean, look at Johnny Hockey was his own thing, but he chose not to fucking go there, and New Jersey. I get that. But it's just weird. Panarin went to the Rangers. Things happened that free agents don't want to go to Long Island for some fucking reason. What is it?
They've had that issue of pretty much going with the same roster year in and year out because of cap inflexibility.
Okay.
So that's at least 2 or 3 years old, right? I mean, that's got to go maybe even 4. Maybe that even goes back to the pandemic.
It's probably before the pandemic.
It's
So
before the pandemic, really.
if you don't have the flexibility, you're not going to be able to sign the big ticket free agents.
Everybody else does.
Yeah, the Isles were in on. I mean, as far as we know they were in on Panarin. We knew it was between them and the Rangers. Panarin to the Rangers. Whatever, man. He went there. Makes sense. Big Apple. Why not? Right. But it was down to those two. It wasn't like he didn't say no. He liked the Rangers better. Don't know about if the rumors are true about either Kadri, I think was UFA that we were supposedly in on, and then same with that shitty fucking player from Columbus, whatever his name is,
Johnny Hockey.
Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, it's like didn't have a last name. That guy's terrible. Anyway, but other than that,
it's Barclay Goodrow's brother.
Okay. But we had I mean, I think Varley might be the last big signing, UFA signing.
Didn't you trade? You didn't trade for him?
I'm pretty sure we signed Varlamov. But before but we had a trade signed for both. The big two last previous guys were Boychuk and Letty in that same, day or 2 days that happened. And then other than that, like we really had like a really big. It was like Guerin and Waite when they're all, at the end of their careers. We signed those guys. Mike Comrie was a big signing for us when it happened. The other two were actually, I guess, the other two real big signings were in Toronto. Kuliman and I'm gonna have a hard time. The other Russian guy. It's gonna take me a minute to remember his name. Short guy, got hurt a lot, concussions, really skilled.
Eric Lindros?
He's not Russian. He was
Brett
little.
Lindros?
Brett Lindros.
God damn it. The worst. Worst, man. The worst. But anyway, the point being that, I'll remember in a second, but they came as a package deal. It was like 10 million between the two of them or something like that. It was like, or 7 or 8 million. But,
Rick
it
DiPietro?
wasn't.
No, they're still paying him.
But yeah, it was. It's just always been tough. They just haven't been able to do it. I think a lot of it had to do with the organization. Wang did a lot of damage to the organization when it came to just word of mouth. But as like a lot of players have said, once they've been in the island and they've been there and they've seen place and lived there for like a little bit, they fell in love immediately. And re-signing players is never a problem. It's getting them there.
Yes,
and that's really tough. It doesn't help that we have New York has high taxes for players, and there's places like they can go play like Florida or Texas and make a lot more money. But it's a big market, and not everybody wants to play there. Plus, you get the Rangers there, who obviously have taken players away from the Islanders if you're in the New York market. But Wang did a lot to the negatively. Unfortunately, not in his. He wasn't trying to do this, but you can't walk into a. And he found out the hard way was you can't walk into the first day with your partner who clearly has never seen a hockey game in his life and show the Hockey for Dummies book up, and that really set the organization like 5 years probably, just that alone. I mean, there's a lot of shit that Wang did that was kind of like completely bonkers, but and I just like the Neil Smith thing. Like I mentioned, they brought in Neil Smith, Patrick LaFontaine. Everyone was like, things are getting righted, and then 40 days later, Neil Smith gets leaves, or they he quits or gets fired, whatever happened. But because Wang wanted to have a more of a committee decision on all players, personnel stuff. That was a big problem. And Mr. was like, no, I'm the GM, make me GM. And he was like, you're out of here. LaFontaine, who was special assistant or special, whatever he was, he gave him like a full position, and he was going to be like a advisor. And he quit the same day as Smith getting fired. So all those things happening compounded it, getting the DiPietro contract for like, 15 years. Yashin and Yashin deal was really, that was a fucking huge contract when it happened. But those kind of things made, soured a lot of players, I think, and their perception of the island. So
it's going to be fascinating to watch the Islanders in the offseason because they don't have a lot coming. They have a couple of guys coming off the books, but they don't have a lot of money coming off of the books to sign those free agents or big target free agents.
So again, how can you go after a big name free agent to have them deny, to have them turn down the Islanders if you don't have the money?
Yeah, I guess, but man, other teams find a way to do it all the time. No. I'm surprised Lou or the Islanders have committed themselves to these guys, and that's it. So it's good for that. For that reason, 100%. So that was the trade deadline. It was exhausting 3 fucking weeks. Glad it's over. But before we move on from the trade deadline,
move on.
I want to take a look at the 5 past Stanley Cup champions and what they did at the trade deadline. Last year was the Golden Knights, and their big move was Barbashev. And they got Bluger as well as Jonathan Quick. That was their acquisitions last year at the deadline. No huge, prominent star players, just solid players. Avalanche the year before got Josh Manson, Nico Sturm, Andrew Cogliano, and Arturi Lehkonen was their prize deadline move. So again, nothing real flashy there. A year prior to that was Tampa, and they got David Savard and Frederick Clausen. I mean, that's what their fucking moves were. Year prior to that was the Blake Coleman, Barkley Goudreau trades. And then in 2019,
I mean,
the
wait,
St.
hold
Louis,
on. You say that, but I mean,
but
Blake
they
Coleman
weren't
he was a third line, fourth line player. He's not like he was moving the needle.
agreed, but they turned out to be a very solid, formidable
Yeah, but
bottom line that really won them the championship. And it wasn't a marquee name, is my point.
yeah, no, that's what I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to drive that point home for you.
I agree with you. and in 2019, the St. Louis Blues, get this, their only acquisition was fucking Michael Del Zotto.
Oh,
So
he's a good.
yeah, is he? Is he? So I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad that the Rangers didn't
Well,
get
no,
the
I
marquee
mean,
name.
when you
And
really think
last
about
year-
it, if you're in the position to win the cup, why do you want to tinker that much? Right?
But the players could just put you over there. Carolina's thinking that Gensel's going to put them over the edge,
No.
or Florida is thinking that Tarasenko is going to put them over the edge. I don't really know what Vegas is thinking. Vegas is thinking there's success in numbers, maybe. But I don't
Remember
know.
how excited Tom was to get Kane and Tarasenko last season, and how he's changed his tune now.
Listen, I was over the moon excited to get Patrick Kane last year. Tarasenko was kind of a surprise, and I thought after Tarasenko they weren't going to get him.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, I haven't seen a roster like that in a very, very long time. That weren't all past their prime at the same time, because there were some early 2000 Rangers teams that had a lot of high-profile names who were at the end of their career, and they were just terrible. So I'm not overly upset that the Rangers didn't go out there and get marquee names. Maybe this is the formula, because it served them well a couple of years ago when they didn't go down that road, and they didn't have very much success last year. So that'll put a bow on the trade deadline. Lots of fun, lots of movement. It's going to be an exciting month and a half left of the NHL season, and then it's all about the playoffs. But before we get there, let's take a ride. Oh, do you want to? We don't have to, but do you want to see how we all did in guessing where players were going to go?
Nope.
All right, maybe we'll save that for the end. Let's take a ride in the Metro. Sponsored by Rich Wholesome Nestle Quick. Hello, boys and girls. Do you hate the taste of regular milk and need energy? Try Nestle Quick. One sip and you can feel the energy in your muscles. Nestle Quick, now available in chocolate and strawberry.
They say the real men drink pink, then I'm a real man for sure. But if you like the brown, I still love you for who you are. Because it's time for acceptance of everyone, all preference. We're all quick on the inside anyway. Nestle Quick, it does the trick.
And we are going to start with the pathetic Pittsburgh Penguins.
Amen, brother. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to spend a whole lot of time on this segment. The Penguins, they've quit, obviously. An NHL team, their last 4 losses, they were outscored 21-2 in those losses. Oh, in the middle of that, they beat Columbus, a team that's also quit. But they have quit when Gensel left. And it's not like it was Gensel coming out of the lineup that made the difference, because he was injured the last few weeks before that. So they just went off a ledge. It's very obvious the correlation between the trade deadline and them all of a sudden not being able to keep the puck out of their own net or putting it into the other team's net. They're the positive that comes out of this, I suppose, is they're going to retain their number one, their first round pick, which was supposed to go to San Jose conditionally, but it was top 10 protected. It's definitely going to be top 10 right now. They're slated at number 8. I imagine Buffalo and Jersey are close to them, which could put them at 10. But I don't imagine. I think 8's going to be their high water mark. I think it only goes down from there. They're not going to catch Montreal and San Jose and some teams for shitness, I suppose. But they're going to get their top 10. They're going to get the top 10 first round pick.
They're only
so
2
that's
points
the
behind
good
New
thing.
Jersey, and they've got 2 games in hand.
Yeah, games in hand. Those are going to be handy.
Those are going to be
really
huge.
good when they lose every game by 4
Those
to
are
6
going to be
goals.
huge.
Yeah. So
But
that's-
it's amazing. It's amazing what Gensel did to that locker room. Everybody, they were fucking all depressed. Well, Crosby was, right? Crosby was very upset.
Oh
But-
yeah,
and
that's thank you for bringing that up, because that's another thing I've really enjoyed this week is that that they Crosby said something like when he was asked what that means for the team, he said, well, you got to ask Dubas, or he
Ask management,
made some
yeah.
kind of deflection, which is a little unusual for him or whatever. So that turns into rumors that Crosby's leaving the Penguins, of course. But on the flip side of that, the interesting thing is on the flip side of that, there's another rumor that his extension is done, and on July 1st, he's just got to sign the paperwork. That they've already worked out his extension to stay in Pittsburgh. So believe what you want. Either Crosby's either a Penguin for life, or this has pushed him over the edge, and he's going to go play with Nate McKinnon. One or the other. One or the other's going to happen.
I can't imagine contract negotiations with Sid will be challenging to get a deal done. What do you want? Okay, here you go. It's basically going to be what it comes down to.
He doesn't sign for $8.7 million. He's a fraud.
He doesn't really believe in his numerology.
Yeah.
Well, what if he signs for 7.8 just to give the team a little flexibility?
He wasn't born on July 8th, jerk.
It doesn't matter. It's still the same fucking numbers.
Nope, it's backwards. It's a completely different number, actually.
Well, listen, the way that we've been calling people's names, it's exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're leaving. Yeah. All right. We'll move on. We'll go to the Devils, Steve.
Thank you.
Lost versus Florida 5-3. They beat the Blues. They lost to Carolina 4-2. 46 of 64 games, giving up the first goal. The only bright spot over the last 8 games has been Timo Myers, who's got 12 points over the last 8 games. On to the next. And then tonight's 3-1 loss at our heated rivals, the New York Rangers, in the world's most shittiest arena.
Timo Meyer is definitely he's been noticeable
He's turned it
this
on,
past
but
week.
just way to wait until the season was already gone.
That's what former San Jose Sharks tend to do, I'm noticing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Eric Carlson.
My goodness gracious. And we will turn our attention to the Islanders.
Isles were they're still on their
They're on fucking fire.
Yes, they're on fire. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you jumping in there and
You
saying
know what?
exactly what you say.
A happy Nick is good for the podcast.
That's not what you normally say.
Well, I normally say a drunk Nick is good for the podcast.
That's
too.
usually the case,
So
yeah.
there's a fine line between the two.
Close. Both really indistinguishable. 2-0 this week. And with playing tonight, the late game, I don't know if I'm gonna stay up for that game. It's in LA tonight. On the end of a back-to-back.
10:30 games against the Kings are the worst.
Unacceptable.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, 2-0. In a unbelievable turn of events, we scored 13 goals in 2 games this week. A far cry from basically being unable to sniff a goal at the beginning of the season. So to say this is unexpected is just not even in. I can't even describe how surprising it's been to watch the team turn around this offense with the guys that should be scoring. All 4 lines have been scoring and chipping in ever since the lines got shaken up and put Brock Nelson moving from the second line center to first line left wing, and kind of put Pageau at second line center, Cizikas in third line center, promoted McLean to fourth line center. It's kind of been a big shakeup, and it's been really good. I mean, Horvat, Barzal, and Nelson Normally they only play together on the power play, so you only see them together for usually like all season. It was like a couple minutes a game at best. Now we're seeing them together 15 minutes a game, and it's a fucking difference. They are very good together. Who knew? Put your three best offensive players together and see what they can do, right? Who fucking knew that was a good idea? Apparently Patrick Raw was like, let's do that. So whatever metrics he's been looking at with the analysts or whatever I don't imagine it's Raw doing it, but he definitely reads into different NHL metrics. There's no question. He came in and started benching guys that were terrible with advanced metrics and just and generally looked bad, but like immediate changes. And now that we see these kind of line changes just happen and not I wasn't expecting to see Nelson on the top line. That was actually really interesting, but it's been really kind of cool to see. And anyway, with that said, team is now on a 6-game win streak. So fucking back. 8th spot in the East, I think, as of today, maybe still. I don't know.
They
Detroit
are in
play
the
tonight?
eighth, yes.
Okay. They were this morning, but
They're still
I'm
in
not
eighth.
paying attention. Okay. And then we were only a couple points back from both the Lightning and Philly, and with games in hand. So I mean, we're peaking at the right time, and hopefully continue to peak because this could finally give them that chance to get back into it officially, not just like get there and then drop off and never really make it back. So I think it's looking great. 7-2 win against San Jose on Thursday night. Couple fluky goals. Really early fluky goal, just a pass in the front, went off a defensive skate, got in past the goalie, kind of started the goal of the game. It was a kind of a close game actually until about last 8 minutes of the second period, and the Isles just scored 3 straight at the end from the last 8 minutes of the second period, blew it open, and then had a couple more in the third. Puck luck plus playing well. I mean, it's hard to beat, man. It's hard to beat when the puck is bouncing your way, and you're winning battles and you're fucking making all sorts of shit happen. Horvat had a goal and 2 assists. Nelson had 3 assists in the game. The next night, or on Sunday night, the next game, 6-1 win over Anaheim. This was a 3-0 very early game. I think we had like a lead in the first 30 seconds of the game. Isles were all over Anaheim early on. Palms had a beautiful breakaway on the second goal. If you haven't seen it, you should probably go just queue it up and take a look at it, because he did one of those no moves that was just the puck just slowly crossed the line. The defender couldn't get there in time to stop it from going in. It was a beaut. And then Anaheim had a quick second goal period. It was like really in the first 20, 30 seconds of the period. And it was like 3-1 all of a sudden. It was like, crap. But Horvat, and the rest of the Isles basically started to turn it back around. And, basically in the third period, and Horvat, I think, scored in like the first very, very early in the third period and made it back into a 3-goal lead. And then I think Clutter scored on a pre-play, and I can't remember the other goal, but basically by the end of the game, the arena was freaking empty. It was like it was maybe 50-50 Isles fans and Anaheim fans at the end of the game, but it was like 5-1 with like a lot of time left, and it started to clear out. But anyway, tonight's game starts in about a half hour. We'll see how far I can make it before I pass out. Probably not going to be long tonight. But anywho, this week coming up, I didn't even look, to be honest, at the schedule because I was looking just really how we were doing this week. But looks like we got the tail end of the 4-game road trip is on Thursday against Buffalo. We have Ottawa at home on Saturday, and then a bit to tail another back-to-back with the Rangers away on the 17th on following Sunday. So gonna be a busy week after 3 games. We're gonna have another 4-game week, and it's gonna be a pretty hectic week. That's it for the Islanders.
Where do the Islanders sit in terms of standings when it comes to wins? Anyone take a guess? What number in the league are they? Anyone take a guess?
Not high.
Fourth.
Fourth in the league in wins, really?
Yeah.
When was the last time you looked at the standings?
I don't look at the fucking standings. I'm a Devils fan.
Oh, sorry. They are 25th.
I meant fourth from the bottom.
25th in the league in wins.
Racking up the overtimes.
14 overtimes, Icelanders. And that's why they are in the playoffs. If they weren't, they'd be sitting probably with Pittsburgh, somewhere in that realm. But that's just make it to overtime. It's all you need to do is just make it to overtime, and you may get invited to the dance.
I mean, conversely, if they won half those games in overtime,
yeah, I
we wouldn't be
agree.
having this conversation.
No, we wouldn't be. We wouldn't be. But if my name was Capo Caco,
you would be related.
All right, let's turn to your first place, New York Rangers. A very light week this week. They had the one game as we recorded last week against the Florida Panthers, a 4-2 loss. But they had one game this week against the St. Louis Blues after the trade deadline. They had 2 days off after that, and they practiced a couple of days, and they got to play St. Louis on Saturday night. And boy, they put forth a solid effort. Roslovic played on the right wing of Zibanejad and Kreider, and Wenberg centering Cooley and Kakko. Definitely, as much as I liked Brodzinski toward the end there, it's definitely an upgrade over Brodzinski as your third line center, Alex Wenberg. Jacob Trouba is out 2 to 3 weeks with some lower body injury, and Zach Jones stepped in and played really fucking well. He hasn't had that many opportunities to come in and play, but the last game before the All-Star break was his last game played, and he played a really good game in Ottawa. And he played a solid game against St. Louis. So when he's getting the opportunity, he's going in there and making the most of it. A little turnaround on Saturday. Rangers 3 for 6 on the power play. Trocheck, Kreider, and Kakko all scoring power play goals. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but Igor was sensational again in getting the shutout in the 4-0 win. Since the All-Star break, he is 8-1-1, 1.80 goals against average, 947 save percentage, and 2 shutouts.
Which just proves you got to call these guys out sooner. This is your fucking fault. You are not calling these players out early enough. Your fault.
Well, listen, I did call out Zibanejad last week, and
what did he do?
Magically, a 5-on-5 goal tonight. First in like 30 fucking games. It's fucking ridiculous. But Rempe Mania seems to be taking over not only the Rangers Twitter, but more importantly, MSG. I don't really know if Rempe is going to be anything more than what he is, short-term influx of energy. I don't know if he's just artist. That, or he's to learn, or if he's going to be something more than that.
When's he going to learn? Did he not? Isn't that why you take a major penalty? You're supposed to learn from it, and all he did was do it again the next time the two teams played.
He's getting better. The first one was a match penalty. This was only a major. No, so he's getting better. This one will cost him a suspension, though, for sure. But people on Twitter, and this is not me, I'm just bringing this to your attention. Remember that. Don't shoot the messenger here.
Just the beginning of your sentence was asinine enough.
They are comparing him to a young Brendan Shanahan.
Come on.
I did think that was quite funny. I did.
Not Brett Shanahan?
No, not his brother. Not his brother. Brendan Shanahan. But listen, the Garden buzzes every time he's not only touches the puck, but every time he steps on the ice, the Garden fucking erupts. So if nothing else right now in the lineup, just providing energy. But you saw tonight, besides the major penalty before all that, when he gets in front of the goaltender, it's almost impossible for the goalie to see the puck or anything in front of him other than Rempe's ass. So keep him in the lineup when he comes back from suspension, and hopefully he'll stay there for the majority of the season and the playoffs. The schedule makers are not making anything easy for the Rangers, especially in March. They starting a stretch now where they will play 5 games in 8 days and 12 games in the next 22. Then in April, they play literally every other day to finish the season. 6 of the last 8 in April are on home ice. And after this week, 10 of the last 15 are on home ice. Tonight, they play a New Jersey Devils team who is appears to be a bus on the road to summer. And they beat them 3-1. You saw signs of life from the Devils, but just things go off their sticks, and it's just when you think they're in the right place, something just happens, and it's just been a tough year. I'm not going to go into the Devils, but the Rangers played another solid game in front of Jonathan Quick tonight, and they played another full 60-minute game. So that's 2 in a row since the trade deadline. The depth signings are proven to give the Rangers a really, really good balance. True test certainly come this week, namely tomorrow night when they go down to Raleigh to play the second place Carolina Hurricanes, and then quick turnaround Thursday night in Tampa. I can't go to the game in Tampa. I'm so pissed.
What?
Tyler has a band thing, and I have to be his father. And then they have a home and home this weekend against the Penguins, both afternoon games against the Penguins at 3 on Saturday in Pittsburgh, and home against the Icelanders, 1:00 start on Sunday.
That's tough. Travel, and then you're still 2 hours early. That's a weird one.
Yeah,
usually it'd be like a 1:00 on Saturday and then 3 on Sunday to give them that extra time.
Yeah, but listen, 10 out of the last 15 after that Pittsburgh game are again like on home ice. So that's fine.
Wish I could go back in time and put some money down on the Cubbies.
What'd you say?
I said, and now it's time for Trivia with Bill. Ugh.
Now this is the wrong Bill.
Thank you, Stephen. Okay, today's question. What was Teemu Solani's nickname?
Red Rocket.
Getting hot in here, but no.
Was it my Solani has a first name?
Nope. That was Oscar Mayer.
Teemu, I have a giant salami in my pants. Solani.
That's the thing. I don't know. Somebody could have called him that. I wouldn't know. I mean, how does this trivia book know?
Wait, that's not the answer?
He's got one nickname. That's not the answer. It's possible that somebody called him.
Is it Kako Solani?
Was it
Kako? Solani was not related to Capo Kako or Capo Kakani.
Was it Teemu Solani? No, I'm not related to Timo Meyer.
No. Geez, they're not even
completely different spellings.
First name, same first name. Good Lord.
Was it the Russian Rocket?
No, he was not Russian. No, it was not the Russian Rocket.
Was his nickname? No, that guy's Paul Correa.
No.
Oh,
was it
Tiny Teemu?
No.
Was it Swedish Chef?
No,
it was not Swedish Chef.
Was it?
But that's not one of the choices?
That's not one of the choices.
Was his nickname?
Are you serious?
Was his nickname the Great One?
No, that was Wayne Gretzky's nickname.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure.
How about Solani Hockey?
Johnny Solane.
No.
Lonnie from the block.
Teemu Solani.
Not Solani from the block.
That's a good one, Nick. I like that one.
Order things off of Temu.
Ooh.
It's
That wasn't around
Temu,
then? No.
like Shamu.
Mm.
Hamu.
Shamu was the whale.
It's
Temu the
Temu.
Shamu.
It's Temu, like Shamu.
That was it. Temu the Shamu.
That's not the.
Is it
No,
Temu's company?
Mm.
no. So there's multiple choice, you guys.
Are there? Good for
Want to
them.
hear the multiple choices?
Nah, I don't think we're there.
Wait. How about the Finnish firecracker?
Oh gosh, you were somewhat close.
How
but
about
no.
is it the Finnish splash?
God, you're so close. But no, that wasn't
All right.
it.
Is it the Swedish splash?
No, it wasn't that part. The splash wasn't the part that was close, actually.
The Finnish finisher. It's got to be, right?
No. But
how was that not? How was it? You know how many
finisher
goals
was
he
one of
scored?
the-
Do you know how many goals he scored?
Is
more than
it
10? I think.
was it
The
is it-
finisher was one of the multiple choices though. But it's incorrect.
Is it
Is it
Finland's finest?
Oh,
No, sir.
was it the flash
sounds like a cheat.
photography?
Ooh,
No, not
I
the.
specialize in flash photography.
Boy, some combination of some of your answers would just go a long way right now.
Okay. The
Swedish
great
photography.
The great
No.
one from Finland.
No.
Well, that's a combination of them.
I know, but there's been a lot of stuff thrown at the wall here.
Johnny
you're not gonna
Hockey.
No, that's
Was it-
Gaudreau's nickname.
Wow, I'm
Finnish
just
fluffer.
putting things together.
Is it I'm just
No,
finished from the
Wait,
block?
shut up. What Nick said deserves to get more of a laugh. God
Well,
damn it, that was funny.
I didn't hear it.
Fucking
The,
shit.
the Finnish fluffer. Come on, man.
Oh.
Deserves more airtime.
That's really contradictory terms. Because you do the fluffing so you don't finish. Right? You do the fluffing to get you ready, not to finish.
No, you get fluff to look bigger.
You get fluff to get ready to act.
Excuse me, I would know.
Yeah, it was your past career. You're right. Finlandia Swiss cheese. Is it Finlandia
Oh.
Swiss cheese?
No,
Starving. I could go.
it wasn't.
Finlandia Swiss. That wasn't it. Then.
He was
No.
the Friday flasher.
No,
Mm.
no.
Some future
Wait, that's
story that I'm
actually-
sure we're gonna see.
That's a Steve Stomach. Hold on.
Google that shit. I'm sure that exists.
Did you guys watch hockey in
All
like
right,
the
can we,
90s, 2000s?
Can we get the multiple choice?
Oh my God! Really? Hey,
We
Mister
need fucking multiple choice
Fantastic.
for the fucking Finnish flash. We need
Right.
really
the
need the
Finnish
fucking
Flash.
multiple
There
choice.
you go.
We really need the multiple choice.
I wanted to hear what they were though.
Well, Mr. Fantastic was A. The finisher, which we mentioned, was B. The Finnish Flash. The correct answer was C. And the Flying Fin.
Oh, the
Ooh.
flying fin. That would have been a good one.
Okay.
Wait, what was the second one again? That was really good.
The finisher.
No. Wait, maybe it was. What was the first one then?
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr.
Fantastic.
Mr.
Fantastic.
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 Fantastical.
Wait, Nick, can you sing more of that song? That was great. I like it.
Which song?
Mr. Fantastic. You were singing Mr.
Mr.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. I live
Oh, that's-
fantastic. Oh.
Shaggy.
Fantastic.
I like me some Shaggy.
Oh. I can't
Yeah,
really, I don't know
that
the
works.
words. I just know.
Yeah.
No,
You
no,
don't need 'em.
no.
Don't need
You
'em.
did spectacular.
Don't need them.
Don't sell yourself short. You are a tremendous slouch.
Got it, buddy.
All right, Nick. Money talks.
Money, it's a gas. Grab that cash with both hands and make a stash. New plug, give a fuck, G and daydream. Think I'll buy me a hockey team.
All right, money talks. Finally, Jesus Christ. So, talk about the Vegas Golden Knights today and their cap circumvention methods, or how they have pulled off
Alleged.
how they've pulled off a few moves that this definitely the biggest splash of any of the contenders. Maybe I'd say the Canes. You could definitely make the argument that they made some big splash, obviously, with Gensel and then getting Kuzi, Gensel. But let's break down the trades a little bit. So, of the 3 trades, the first trade was Mantha, 50% of Mantha, by the way. So the really important thing you're going to hear here is that the Crinan,
the top half or the bottom half?
Yeah,
the top half or the bottom half?
Or do you go left and or do you get left and right?
Oh,
bottom.
Well,
All
if he's a left-handed shot, I definitely want the left shot.
Yeah,
left-handed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so every deal here has basically made it so that they could get these contracts down as little as possible. 50% Mantha, I think, oh my gosh, what is it, like $1 million at 1 point something? It's super small amount. Excuse me. Oh, it's 285. So he's making 285 right now. That's 50% of Mantha. So pretty good for a second and a fourth. I'm not going to go into the years, but second and a fourth. All right. Not terrible. He's a guy that they brought in to basically replace Stone while Stone's out. Obviously, until the playoffs start. 50% of Hannafin, whose deal was very small to begin with.
Like
50%. 50% of what's left, I guess, is 1.237. Yeah. It's minute. So they got him for 50% for a first and a third and a fifth. Now the third is likely a second because all they have to do is win the first round. If they get through the first round of the playoffs this year, it's a second. So that's a first, a second, and a fifth most likely scenario, which is a big. That is probably the largest of the assets traded for like a 1-for-1 in these 3 deals. And Hannafin, by the way, is still a UFA, as is Mantha. Neither of these guys are signed past this year, both UFAs. And then lastly, 83% of Hurdle. So which makes this deal actually pretty decent. For 6 more years, as Thomas mentioned. So it's Hurdle and 2/3. I completely botched this trade when I was texting you guys because I don't know. I was reading it from
on top of looking up somebody else's salary who wasn't even involved.
Yeah, I looked up the wrong. I looked at Line A because I for some reason thought the 2 of them were like the same player. So I completely fucked that up. I said 2 more years. I'm like, that's not great. Then I'm like, wait, Hurdle. Oh shit. 6 more years. So 6 years of Hurdle at 6 point, I think it's 7.5. It's he is on the IR. Yeah, 6.75 for 6 more years. 2/3 they get for a first and David Edstrom, who's their 2023 32nd overall player. I don't know enough about Edstrom, but let's just be honest. 32nd pick is last year's pick, so they won the cup. He's the last pick in the first round, barely a first rounder, and another first rounder. But 6 years of Hurdle at a discounted rate, and somehow got Mike Greer to agree to pay like a 1.7 million of this guy's contract for the next 6 years, which is gotta be, as Tom was saying earlier, how does Greer make that trade? I mean, I don't know how you get the management, the president to sign off on this kind of deal. I get it. You're trying to move him, but you throw 2/3 away for a first and Edstrom and Hurdle. Like, I don't get what the Sharks are doing here. It doesn't make any sense, but maybe another day for that whole rant.
Anyway, wait, just to top on that, just to pile on Greer a little more. The first, like you're saying, if they're successful, it's going to be late in the 20s.
What are we doing here?
Yeah. So who cares? Like you're saying, it's not even really a first.
So I don't know. And Hurdle, I don't remember him being floated as, a top trade guy. It was honestly the surprising one to me was that trade. When I saw that, I was like, what? Hurdle? Of course, I thought it was Line A, but it was really Hurdle. So, I'm an idiot for that. So to recap, Vegas sends 2 firsts, effectively 2 seconds, because we're going to make that third a second. I'm pretty positive they're going to win that first round. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fourth and a fifth, and their top, their first from last year for Mantha, Hannafin, Hurdle, 2/3. Hannafin and Mantha, if they resign somehow, fuck the Vegas if they can resign Hannafin. But again, those two guys are just rentals, pure rentals. Hurdle is 6 years, so he's signed long term, and the 2/3. Now the 2/3 take out the fourth and the fifth, so effectively two first, 2 seconds gets you those three guys, and realistically, two of them probably rentals. Maybe they get like maybe they trade their rights away to a team like Hannafin's, might be worth like a third or something to make some things move happen if they can't re-sign him, which probably can't happen. But that's a pretty big set of moves, and they still, out of all that, believe it or not, they have their first round pick for this year, which is probably because it's in Vegas, and the management was probably like,
oh God, yeah. Could you
whatever you
imagine if
wanna
they
do.
weren't invited?
What, you gotta have that first pick for this year so he can make it, right? So pretty interesting overall, and a lot of moves, but look, they are constantly making moves and making things happen. They won the cup last year. They put themselves in a really good position to potentially make the playoffs, because they still haven't made the playoffs yet, right? They gotta make the playoffs. Made the playoffs.
They're the 8th
And,
seed right now.
Yeah, they're not. There's a lot of talk. They could. A lot of people are like, "What if?"
I don't think St. Louis and Minnesota can catch them though. That's the problem.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. So what does this mean for the rest of this that's going on right now? So Hurdle, Alec Martinez, and Brett Howden are all expected before the playoffs to be back on the team. They're all on IR, not LTIR, so they're part of the cap, right? They're not. There's no cap relief for those three guys. Hurdle is about 2 weeks out. He's just said today. I don't know about Martinez and Howden, but I think I don't remember about those two guys. I didn't see if they were, but because they're on just IR, they're likely just really close. So let's say they're all back for the playoffs. Those three guys are obviously important pieces to come back. So what are you looking at with LTIR, and how are they circumventing the cap, right? So realistically, there's three guys on LTIR. Will Carrier, and he's only capped at 1.4 million. He's a UFA next year. He's one of the guys that was on the probably expansion draft. So I'm not sure if he gets re-signed or not. If how much they care about that aspect of it. There's only a few guys left. It's only Carlson, Marceau, and Carrier, and likely Marceau's gone after they just grabbed Hurdle for basically the same amount of money. Marceau's going to re-sign for probably. But Carrier was supposed to be back, but he had a serious illness come up after his upper body injury. Now, maybe that's like staph or some crazy shit, who knows, right? Something came up. It's not a ton of money, but it's kind of fishy timing. Now, obviously we know about Stone. Stone's $9.5 million, 3 more years of that contract. He's got a broken spleen. Everyone's like, he's gonna be out for a while, blah, blah. He'll still be miraculously fine. They'll spray that soccer spray. They'll spray the shit out of his body, throw him on the ice. He'll be fine. I can't imagine he doesn't make it back for the playoffs, or at worst, second round. I mean, I can't imagine. That guy will play through. He'll run through a brick wall, that guy. These guys play all the time with crazy shit. I mean, my buddy had his spleen removed. He got hit with a baseball. We were playing baseball. We were at a rec league. He got hit by a pitch. It hit him directly in the spleen, and he was like in a ton of pain. He wanted to charge bound, but he fell down because he was in a ton of pain. Anyway, he was like, "I'm all right." He went to like the first. I think he like got home or something. Like a double, or he ran around a little bit. Went the next. When we went to the play in the outfield, a ball was hit to him with 2 outs, and he like dove and caught it. And like we were like, yeah, we were up to him, and he couldn't get up, and he basically was like, I think something's bad, and he's ruptured his spleen. Now he was out for a bit, and he's fucking like 8th grade, because his spleen cut out. He was out for like a couple of weeks. He wasn't playing like hockey, but I mean, the biggest problem with that is like that was like 20 years ago, and I'm sure they have much better ways to do this now, laparoscopically or whatever they do. I mean, I'm telling you, there's no way this guy's not going to make the playoffs, man, or back for that. A month out from a spleen, sure, but there's no way he's not back. They do crazy shit these days. How is that guy not going to be back? So to me, I think it's shitty timing, but whatever. That's the big chunk. The really interesting part is not actually Stone. Stone, he broke his spleen. I mean, come on. Shit happens, right?
It's a lacerated spleen. You
Yeah,
can break it. You
whatever.
can't break your spleen.
Broke it. The really interesting one is Robin Leonard. Okay, Robin has one more year. He's this year, next year, where he comes to UFA again. 5 million cap hit. He missed all the 2022, 2023 season, and to a hip injury, and he started this season on LTIR with hip injury. Now he's got a lot going on. He's bipolar. He's said it many times, and he hasn't been on social media for a while, but he was really vocal about it when he joined the team and left the Islanders, and it was a good story. And then you got the hip injury. You got this whole bankruptcy issue with like owning exotic snakes in a snake like farm or some shit. Yeah, I don't know if you know that story, Tom, but he had a whole thing.
Is that serious?
Yeah, he's like a lot of money in debt, a lot of money, like millions of dollars in debt from this whole failed thing. Apparently, he's a snake guy. Who knew? So anyway, he probably a bad business deal. He probably, whatever he did, he ended up in a ton of debt. Anyway, all that said, that started happening like the offseason, I think in last year, in 2023, that story came out. And then we haven't really heard from him all year. He has been completely buried in LTIR. I don't think he's actually injured anymore. I think he's actually the more interesting guy because, I mean, he missed all this time with a hip injury, and it's been dead silent with him. I think he's the real cap circumvention. If you look at any of the players, you can have a hip injury, you can have surgery, but like he's not with the team at all, and it's been like a year and a half. I mean, it's a long time. I think they probably told him, go deal with your legal problems. We'll just let you stay. We'll just keep saying it's hip issue. Do your thing until your contract ends, and we'll help you out. There's no fucking way this guy's injury is keeping him out for a year and a half with nothing else going on. It feels a little strange with all the things going on. Obviously, Stone is one thing, carrier, whatever, injury, illness. But man, they are just making do, scraping by. They're just under the top of the cap. And with Hurdle, Martinez, Howden coming back healthy, Carrier and Stone will probably be back to the playoffs. It's going to be, and they can't really activate them unless they send guys down. They have a couple of guys. There's one guy that they can send down without waivers. Another guy, I forget the guy's names at this point, but that they picked up on waivers. They could probably just send him down anyway to reactivate Carrier if he was ready to go before the playoffs to keep be cap compliant. But it's just going to be really interesting. This team is obviously going to be over the cap by quite a bunch, like 10 million over. With realistically, again, Leonard's not playing. They have two goalies. He's not going to come back anytime soon. He's probably done. But it's interesting because I think if I remember correctly, the Lightning had weren't they like 15 mil over the LTR or something like 1 year, 2 years ago with Kucherov and like somebody else? I thought they were like a crazy amount over LTIR. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, that was the last year they won the cup.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Kucherov and it was like somebody else. They had a ton more. I don't know if it was.
It was Kucherov. No, it was Kucherov and Point. I think we're both on LTIR at the same time. But Kucherov was on it for like the entire year.
Of course, he was on the entire year, and that was obviously a little worse of a. To me, that one was a little worse than Vegas. I think Vegas.
That's where the most famous soundbite in Friends and Rivals history came from. It's fucking great. That's where it came from.
That's true. But anyway, my point is in this whole thing is, I think Vegas, after looking at their cap situation and circumvention, I think, it's a little circumstantial. I think of anything they've done, I think the Robin Leonard thing is a little suspicious. But even with that said, he's not even going to play. He was clearly something's going on with him legally, but they decided to keep him on LTR. Maybe it's like an NHL thing. They were like, if we keep on LTIR, we don't make a big scene. No,
who the hell knows? They fucking get swept in the first round. I hope they get swept.
But realistically, it's not as bad as the Lightning were doing, in my opinion, from like previous years. And And all that said, they made some really interesting moves. 3 deals for 3 players, all in, and all of them have cap hit retained by the other teams, and they did a great job. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they do. If they win the cup, I mean, the GM gets all the fucking praise, man. But if they flame out, it's gonna hurt big time, because I don't think they can afford either Mantha or Hannafin unless they make serious other moves.
No, they have money coming off, but we'll see what happens. They don't even have the most LTIR space used this year. They're third. They're third. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Looking into it, I don't think it's as egregious as other teams have been. I think they just Stones makes it look worse. But,
it's just it's timing of everything,
and it's doing it year after year.
Yep.
It's Stone likes to get hurt. What are you gonna do? him and Eichel. They alternate. Next year's Eichel's turn. Don't worry.
That'd be great. Well, another solid segment of Money Talks, and let's go to this date in Steve's stomach.
Oh, that feels better.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar.
Right here, we're saving calories. Round here, we all look so lean. Round here, we enjoy Coke Zero, but sacrifice flavor, no. Round here, Coke Zero's the way to go.
This one's going to bring us to the year of our Lord 2019. Please go to January 15, 2019.
January 15th, 2019 was a Tuesday. Breakfast was a can of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar and a granola bar.
Shocking.
Lunch was a grilled chicken Caesar salad and a Coke Zero can. Afternoon snack was mini pretzels filled with peanut butter. Love those little things. 20 minutes on the elliptical after work. Dinner was chicken thighs, corn, rice on the side with a can of Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Tom, why did you pick Tuesday, January 15th in the year 2019?
Well, as we continue with our string of fast food establishments, that was the day that a KFC employee was arrested for battery after throwing boxes of chicken at a customer's face. A KFC employee in Florida, surprisingly, was arrested for battery and fired from her job after tossing a couple of boxes of chicken and biscuits at a customer in the drive-thru. Ronald Jenkins, which I think his name was going to be, 53, started recording the employee Shade Renee Simmons, 30, and her coworkers as they prepared his order after he noticed they were not being sanitary. She turned around and started putting food in the boxes with no gloves on, no hairnet on, and after handling money, Jenkins told News 4 Jacksonville. Simmons confronted Jenkins about recording her, and the situation got heated. When she gave Jenkins his food, she hit him in the face with the bag. She didn't throw it. She actually swung it, and it hit me in the face, with it, basically. It wasn't a throw. It was a backhand pow, Jenkins said. It hit me in the mouth and damaged my tooth. Oh, my tooth. Oof. And my glasses.
You hit me in the face and you damaged my tooth.
And where are my glasses? God damn it. My tooth was bleeding.
You don't bleed.
Your tooth can't fucking
Solid.
bleed.
Listen. This is what he said.
Jerky Boys reference. Solid Jerky Boys reference. Come on.
Jenkins went inside the. You went inside the restaurant, Roscoe Jenkins.
Well, yeah.
Inside the restaurant and told the manager, told on her, what happened, and he was given a refund for the food. Well, if you want free KFC, this is all you got to do. Start recording the employees. He also showed the video to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, who later responded to the KFC and arrested Simmons. And that can't be the end of the story.
Tom's a creep. Tom is a weirdo. Where does he come up with the shit? It's so disgusting.
God
Look,
damn it.
You can't.
That's the end of the story.
You can't wear gloves when he got like them like big long like press on nails, and he can't wear a hairnet when he got the extensions. Like I don't understand what these regulations are racist. I'm gonna say it.
That's solid points, Bill. I gotta tell you.
I was wondering in the beginning of the story if it was cooked chicken or frozen chicken, because I feel like the frozen chicken would have hurt a lot more.
Damage. God damn.
Well, agreed, but I mean, you can't serve somebody frozen chicken. But
Also,
once they put the put the chicken in the boxes,
then
the edges of those fucking boxes,
then it's a brick. Yeah. Do you think he went inside to get one of those special tooth Band-Aids since it was bleeding?
Do you think they have them?
I think just at KFC. KFC is the only place they have them.
My tooth is bleeding. I can't find my glasses. Oh, God in heaven.
Brad, did you yell at this customer and use profanity?
He was being an asshole.
You're fired.
Thank God I got a reference for the first time in my fucking life.
Well,
it didn't say it. It didn't say it. Surprised. I'm assuming he came. He had.
I mean, all over the chicken. And still
I had to have, right?
Delicious. It's KFC.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Do you think the biscuits would just be airy? They wouldn't be any harder.
No, they're fluffy. Yeah, they're fluffy.
Yeah. I mean, if you refrigerated them fuckers, then that would be a different story.
No.
But woo-wee.
Yeah,
that's what happened January 15th.
I've had dreams of getting hit with biscuits all day. Like,
was it a 2-piece or a 3-piece? Because if it was a 3-piece, then we're talking some serious damage.
It doesn't.
It had to be. I mean, his tooth was bleeding.
It did make the teeth bleed. So yes.
Well, I mean, you put in those boxes and all hell breaks loose after that.
Yeah, and you said it. You get out the phone and you start recording. Shit's going south quick.
It's escalating very, very rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But I mean, you pull up to a drive-through. I make it a point to try to not look in the place because I don't want to know what the fuck they're doing to my food. It is the last thing I do.
It's
most
not.
Of the time.
It's fast food.
You don't want to look in a kitchen.
I know. I worked at a fast food joint. I understand what goes on there. And granted, that was 30 years ago.
It hasn't changed. It hasn't.
Sure,
nothing
so much
changed.
better
I
now.
have to assume it hasn't changed. And if I'm assuming that, then I don't want to know what the fuck. And even when they go to like a Chili's, or I try not to look back
Still
in the
delicious.
kitchen area.
Doesn't matter.
As Billy said, you're better off not knowing what happened. I'm fucking just 10-2 looking forward. Here's my credit card.
I remember Tom used to work at like a chain restaurant and just told me never,
Applebee's,
ever get the eggs.
What? Never eat the eggs. Never ever. After how I saw they came, never ever get hard-boiled eggs on your salad.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. How do you think the eggs got there?
So what came first was the egg.
Oh my God! We answered the fucking age-old question. It was the egg. The egg came first. Oh, there you have it. There. Well, hold on. Let me. Episode 146 on the old
monumental,
the old podcast,
and historic episode.
Unbelievable. This will go in the Friends and Rivals, the trivia book.
It'll go in the annals. Annals?
Oh,
annals?
There.
Close enough.
The annals.
The annals is always close enough.
By the way, we only predicted one player
Okay, good.
Going
Let's
to the
wrap it
right
up because
location. One player, Chris Tanev,
we
went
just
to
did
Dallas.
2 tight 45. And
Who got that one?
wasn't that the first
Was
deal?
that Billy?
That was the
It
first.
was the
It was
first
me.
deal.
That was me.
It was me. Oh, wait, no, sorry, there was 2. I said that Jacob Chikrin would stay in Ottawa.
Oh,
Wow, we suck.
Barely
excuse
qualifies.
me, we don't suck because I bet you that's 2 more than any NHL pundit had that was on either TSN, ESPN, or NHL Network.
Well, that's
My
true.
God.
But while that's true, holy shit, where did we miss with the Devils? I mean, we missed by a lot with
No.
all the
What
players
is this?
we
What
thought
is
were
this?
going to the
We
Devils.
what is this? We shit.
Me and Steve.
This is no. This is not even. I wouldn't even classify you in that category. This was all Steve.
That was close.
Everybody.
I
was
agreed a
going
couple
to
times.
Close.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's fine. But still,
Can't
But
remember
still.
what I even said about Devils.
I said there.
you didn't know half the people on
Yeah,
there.
you started talking about Patrick Ewing and Mark Jackson
What are you
and
talking about?
John Starks.
Jesus. Was Mason too? Was Mason on there?
You said it. You said is
Anthony
Drazen
Mason.
Petrovic getting traded this year, and somebody had
Oh my
to
God.
let you know he's dead.
Are we gonna
Oh,
name
wow.
every basketball player that's dead now? Holy hell!
They're not dead. They're not even dead.
Anthony Mason's dead.
Chris Childs? Childs?
No, he's
Charlie
probably
Ward.
alive.
Charlie Ward.
Best
State.
quarterback in New York those years.
Penn State. Oh man, if we had him instead of fucking
Florida
NHS
State, not Penn
NHS
State.
quarterback.
Florida State.
I am now going to be like Billy, and I'm not going to watch football this year.
Why?
Okay.
Jeez.
I'm joining the Billy bandwagon.
Why?
It's asinine. The Giants are going to suck. What's the point? What is the point of watching? So I can watch them
For
lose
what?
every game as they're rebuilding? Or let's sign a fucking defensive lineman to a $150 million contract where we just traded the same exact guy to Seattle? And all those draft picks that we got, we just traded for this fucking guy?
Yep.
This is stupid.
And look, I haven't maybe looked since like after maybe like 6-15, but the Jets and Giants both were like 2 of like 4 teams that only signed 2 guys all day. One of the guys the Jets signed was a fucking kicker.
Our own kicker.
Well, he's a good kicker. He's a good kicker.
That fucker's
He's our own
asleep at the
kicker.
wheel.
Yeah.
Last
Well,
time I
that's
checked,
right.
they had the worst offense in the league last season. They didn't sign one guy on offense.
Listen, you arguably lose a top 5 running back in the NFL, and you replace him with Devin Singletary. I think it's a great idea. I think that they're going to get more yards with Devin Singletary than they are going to get with Saquon Barkley. I
don't think
agree.
the offense can. No, but you know
They
what?
should.
What I actually decided this year is I think I'm all in with Pittsburgh. I'm gonna root for the Pirates and the Steelers too.
There you
Fucking
go.
Wow.
fuck the Yankees and the fucking and any New York team.
This guy's
Oh,
just
well,
going to paint
fucking-
his house yellow and black.
That's it.
It's all good. Me and Steve got the Jets, so
Eesh.
the only 2 watching, I guess.
Well, enjoy
Oh,
Greg
I'm
Zuerlein.
still gonna end up going to more Jets
Yeah,
games than either one of you guys. But
Yeah, pretty much.
That is definitely true.
That's true.
All right. That is going to do it for us.
Thank God.
Don't forget to go on the Twix at friends_rivals. Well, go on to Apple Podcasts or wherever the hell you get your podcast, turn notifications so you never miss an episode of the Friends of Rivals podcast. Please say something, Woody.
just a quick update on my status. The balls are back. Woo!
What?
Did I miss something?
From his steroids, he stopped taking
Oh,
his
right.
steroids. So
Right. That was.
his
Okay.
testicles.
Oh, my friends and rivals. Flyers fuck, flyers fuck, flyers fuck off.